All right, let's jump into something interesting. We're going deep on a 30-minute IsoTone workout program that claims to be high intensity.
Sounds intense.
It does. Now, for those who haven't heard of it, IsoTone is a fitness device, right? You grip it, squeeze it, and
you manipulate it during your exercise.
And so it's not just about going through the motions. It's about this push and pull.
Dynamic push and pull, yeah.
That's supposed to add, a whole other dimension.
Yeah, adds a whole other dimension to your workout.
So this is one of those things where I'm going to have to actually feel it to understand it.
Yes, you do.
But luckily you're here to kind of walk us through it.
Absolutely.
So let's get started.
Well, one of the most interesting things about this program is that it's the first one to take all the different IsoTone exercises and put them together in a routine. So you can do it in a group fitness class, or you can do it online, or you can even do it at home or in the office.
Oh, cool. So it's like a full cohesive program.
Exactly.
All right. So where do we start with this thing?
Well, this particular program kicks off with a 5-minute warm-up.
Okay.
And that includes IsoTone Arm Circles and IsoTone Cross Punches.
Arm circles and punches. Okay, so that sounds pretty standard. Where does the IsoTone, where does that come in?
Well, it's all about the squeeze and expand rhythm.
Okay.
So, for example, with arm circles, as you're circling your arms upwards, you squeeze the isotone, and that's what adds the resistance.
Okay.
But then as you circle downwards, you expand the isotone.
I see.
And it's not just a passive release, it's actually adding, it's almost like a gentle pull downwards, which then adds another layer of engagement to that movement.
So it's not just resistance, it's also
control.
Control, yeah.
Interesting. Yes. And that control and precision is really key to using the isotone effectively.
Okay, got it. So we warmed up. What comes next?
Next up is the main event. We have a 20-minute resistance circuit.
Okay.
And it's structured as 3 rounds of 4 exercises.
Okay.
And each of those is 40 seconds long with 20 seconds of rest in between.
Okay, so this is where things start to get a little bit...
Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit tougher.
Okay. A little sweaty.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we doing in this resistance circuit?
All right, so this circuit includes IsoTone chest press, IsoTone jump squats, IsoTone split lunge with overhead lift, and IsoTone side-to-side lateral shuffle.
Wow, that's a mouthful. So I'm guessing the IsoTone adds like a whole other level of challenge to these moves.
Absolutely, yeah. For example, with the IsoTone jump squats, you squeeze as you lower down into the squat. But then as you explode upwards for the jump, you forcefully expand the isotone, and that adds this extra sort of boost of power to your jump.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just releasing.
Yeah.
It's an active, very forceful part of the exercise.
Interesting. So you're not just kind of letting it go, you're using that
expansion
to really add to the move.
Exactly.
Wow, okay. So we've tackled the warm-up, we've got the resistance circuit. What comes after that?
Then we shift gears into a 3-minute aerobic blast.
Oh.
This one is all about quick, powerful movements.
Right.
And the 2 exercises we have in this one are IsoTone power punches and IsoTone lateral push presses.
So that sounds like we're incorporating those quick squeeze and expand cycles here.
You got it. Yeah, this is all about speed and power and using the isotone to really intensify those movements and make them much more challenging than your typical cardio exercises.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to see how this isn't just about like adding weight or resistance. It's really about changing.
Yeah, changing the way you move.
Yeah, changing the way you move.
Exactly.
All right, so we've done that. We've had that burst of energy. Now we got to cool down. Right?
Of course, got to cool down. So we wrap things up with a 5-minute cool down.
All right.
And this is where we sort of get into another interesting aspect of the isotone, which is its ability to assist with, gentle controlled stretches.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be doing isotone overhead side stretch and isotone seated forward stretch.
Okay.
And so during this phase, that expansion is more about
elongation.
Elongation, exactly. So as you're reaching into your stretch, you're squeezing the isotone, but then as you release, that slow, controlled expansion of the isotone actually helps you deepen the stretch.
So it's almost like a gentle pull.
It is a gentle pull.
It's guiding you further in.
Guiding you further into the stretch.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of covered all the phases here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the warm-up, resistance, cardio, and cool-down. It seems like the isotone plays such a different role in every single phase. It's fascinating.
It really does. It's really amazing how it can be used.
Yeah. So now that we have a general overview of this whole program, why don't we take a closer look at each exercise?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. So, one thing that really strikes me about this program is how it blends strength training with these bursts of cardio.
Yeah.
So it's like getting a full body workout in just 30 minutes.
Yeah, totally. And, I have to say, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around how the isotone is used differently in each of these exercises. It's more nuanced than I think I initially realized.
Yeah, you're right. It's all about integrating the isotone with the movement and using it to either provide that resistance or to help you control the movement. So, for example, with the isotone chest press,
okay,
as you push forward, you're squeezing the isotone, and that intensifies the chest muscles.
Mm-hmm.
But then as you bring your arms back in, that expansion of the isotone actually offers a smooth, controlled resistance.
So even in that release, it's still
working.
Actively.
Yeah.
A dynamic process.
Interesting. Okay. What about the isotone jump squats? You mentioned how the expansion adds power to the jump.
Right.
Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, so with jump squats, the timing is really key.
Mm-hmm.
As you lower down into the squat, you squeeze the isotone, you build up that tension.
Mm-hmm.
But as you explode upwards, that's when you forcefully expand the isotone. And it's almost like this extra burst of energy that helps propel you upwards.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then we have the isotone split lunges with overhead lift.
Yes.
That sounds like a challenge. It is a challenge. That's a great one.
So how does that one work?
Well, this is what's called a compound movement, so it targets multiple muscle groups at once.
Oh, okay.
So as you step back into the lunge, you're holding the isotone kind of at chest height.
Okay.
And then as you lift it overhead, you squeeze, and that engages your shoulders and your core.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you return to the starting position, that expansion of the isotone gives you this controlled descent.
I see.
So it's a fantastic exercise for building strength and stability.
Okay, so we've got chest press, jump squats, lunges. What about the isotone side-to-side lateral shuffle?
Oh, yeah.
That one sounds maybe a little less intense.
It does sound less intense.
But I'm sure the isotone still has a part to play.
Absolutely. So this one's all about lateral movement and core engagement.
Okay.
So imagine you're shuffling side to side with the isotone held at chest height.
Okay.
And with each step, you squeeze the isotone, which activates your oblique, those side core muscles.
Yeah.
And then during the pauses between the shuffles, the isotone expands, and that provides this moment of controlled recovery.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a surprisingly effective way to work those often neglected side muscles.
Oh, that makes sense. Wow. So every exercise is so specific. It's not just like random squeezing and expansion.
It's not random at all. It's very specific.
Yeah, it's like you're really using it to transform the move.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've done that. We've done the resistance circuit. Now I want to get into this 3-minute aerobic blast.
Yes.
It's short, but it sounds
intense.
Intense, yeah.
Yeah, it's designed to be a high-energy cardio interval.
Okay.
And first up, we have the isotone power punches.
Okay.
So here you're throwing quick jabs while you're rapidly squeezing and expanding the isotone.
Oh, wow.
So you're turning punches into this full body exercise.
Yeah.
It engages your arms, your shoulders, and your core.
So even punches get an upgrade with the isotone.
Exactly.
What about the other one?
The other exercise in this segment is the isotone lateral push press. Okay. And this one's kind of fun. You basically push the isotone out to the side, alternating left and right. So you squeeze as you push, which engages your chest and your triceps. Mm-hmm. And then the expansion brings it back to center in this nice controlled motion.
Okay.
So it gets your heart rate up, and you're working those upper body muscles.
Yeah, we've got power punches and lateral presses, and it's all using the isotone to elevate these really basic moves.
Exactly.
So, okay, and finally we come to the cool down.
Right.
Which is the isotone overhead side stretch and the isotone seated forward stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned earlier that during the cool down, that expansion is what helps you deepen the stretch.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk through how exactly that works?
Yes. So let's take the overhead side stretch, for example.
Okay.
You're holding the isotone overhead and you're leaning to each side. So you're squeezing as you stretch and then expanding as you come back up.
Okay.
And that expansion is providing that gentle pull that eases you further into the stretch and helps you release any tension.
So it's like a guiding force. It's not just like...
Yeah, it's a controlled release.
Okay.
And then with the seated forward stretch, you're sitting on the floor with your legs extended, reaching forward with the isotone.
Mm-hmm.
And as you reach, you squeeze, you feel that stretch in your hamstrings and back. And then again, that expansion is providing that gentle pull to help promote that flexibility and relaxation.
Wow, it's really fascinating how throughout this whole workout from start to finish, the isotone is constantly being used, but in different ways.
In different ways, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's a very versatile piece of equipment.
Yeah, for sure. So now that we've gone over the specifics of each exercise, I kind of want to broaden things out a little bit.
Absolutely.
And talk more about the bigger picture of using IsoTone. Okay, so we've really broken down this IsoTone 30-minute athletic program.
We have.
You know, we've gone through warm-up, we've gone through the resistance circuit, that crazy aerobic blast, and even the cool down. But I'm curious, like, what does all this push and pull, what does this really mean for our workouts?
Right.
In a bigger sense.
Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think what's fascinating is that IsoTone really challenges how we traditionally think about exercise.
Okay.
You know, we tend to view working out as either you're lifting heavy weights
right.
or you're pushing yourself to the limit with cardio.
Yeah.
But IsoTone brings in this whole other element of controlled resistance and expansion.
Yeah, it's not just about how much you can lift or how fast you can run.
Exactly.
It's about how you're controlling the movement, how you're using resistance, you know, at every stage.
Every phase, yeah.
Of the exercise.
And this control, this dynamic interplay between push and pull has some interesting implications.
Okay.
For one, it forces you to be much more mindful during your workouts.
Okay.
You can't just go through the motions.
Right.
You have to be present, paying attention to how your muscles are engaging, how they're responding to the isotone.
Yeah, you're really tuning in to those sensations that maybe you would just miss otherwise.
Exactly. And that increased awareness can lead to better form, which can help reduce the risk of injury and make your workouts more effective.
So it's not just adding resistance, it's adding a whole other layer of mindfulness to your workout.
And this mindfulness, this attention to control movement, can actually translate beyond the gym.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So think about everyday activities,
like
carrying groceries, playing with your kids, or even just walking. IsoTone can help you develop that same sense of control and awareness in those movements.
So it's almost like retraining your body to move better, more efficiently.
It's about changing how you approach movement in general.
It's not just about that 30 minutes. It's about, like, everything.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about this technology.
Yeah.
It has the potential to really change the way we think about and experience fitness altogether.
Oh, we really went from a deep dive on a specific program to this huge conversation about, like, movement and exercise as a whole.
I know, it's pretty cool.
It is. It is pretty cool.
And, you know, thinking about all of this, I think the key question to ask yourself is, how would incorporating this kind of dynamic resistance, this push and pull, change your perception of what a workout can be?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And for our listener out there, we definitely encourage you to check out the source material.
Yeah.
Maybe even try this program for yourself.
Give it a try.
See how IsoTone changes the way you move.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely.